Hi, this is Phil Potempa, and welcome to another edition of Notoriety. Each week, as your host, I bring you all the ticket opportunities, events coming up, all the things to mark on the calendar, what is not to be missed in Northwest Indiana, Chicago, and beyond. Of course, this is the broadcast equivalent of all of the columns and feature stories you'll read in the flagship Post-Tribune, which, of course, is also under the umbrella of Chicago Tribune Media. So everything is captured right there at chicagotribune.com. We want to make sure that you are in the know, and so for the last 9 years, thanks to our generous underwriters, such as the folks at People's Bank, Arts Advocates, Andy and Sue Arnold, and so many other benefactors, make this program and show possible for us to be here these past 9 years, going on to a decade. We also want to remind some of you folks that are tuned in through the radio dial at 12:30 a.m. Today's broadcast is coming to you, and it is stamped on what is February the 17th. So Tuesday, February the 17th. In case you're hearing a rebroadcast later, we want to make sure you mark your calendars appropriately. Those of you tuned into the traditional radio dial don't have the added advantage and the bonus of those of you streaming. Maybe you're catching us on social media and you can see on camera everything that's happening in our studios here in Hammond, Indiana, the Strachan Van Til studios. As I'm joined by co-host Tony Panic.
How's it going, everybody?
And returning guest, we have with Carrie Bedwell.
Hello, how are you?
And you'll know her from listening to your mother, a brand that she has created in Northwest Indiana as a stamp as part of what is a much larger franchise we'll talk about. We've got key dates coming up besides the performance dates. And the guest you brought with us, Carrie, is
Melissa Huffman from Meals on Wheels.
We are in good company today. Meals on Wheels has got a very exciting event that's coming up just around the corner on March the 1st, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
First we're going to start talking about Listen to Your Mother. I wrote a column about this that came out in the Post and up at chicagotribune.com to remind about key dates. And our radio producer here, Adriana, she'll be flashing a flyer to let us know. I love the theme this year. It's a little bit of a kind of a tongue-in-cheek, a little bit of a nudge. Tell us about the theme.
So I'm a big Wizard of Oz fan, and with the popularity of the movies last year and this year, we went with a Wicked theme, and motherhood is wicked, but that could be wickedly awesome, wickedly funny, or just plain wicked, like, what the heck is going on here?
Very, very fun. That is a great theme. And then if you're seeing the flyer, if you do have the advantage of our camera stream, there's a splash of green, there is a splash of pink. And I'm going to go right there because we're talking about Listen to Your Mother, which is, again, part of a larger theatrical franchise. It happens for a good reason and for a good cause, and it checks many, many boxes. It's hard to summarize it in just a paragraph, as I found when I was writing my column, because it does so much. So I'm leaving this to Carrie to explain what it's all about.
Sure. So Listen to Your Mother is a series of live readings, and we've extended that to poetry, stand-up comedy, song, music as well. Anything original about motherhood. So the happy, the sad, the ugly, everything in between. The show itself, when the pieces come together, will kind of take you on a roller coaster ride, and you'll laugh and you'll cry and everything in between.
The date for the show this year, and it's always it's kind of its signature venue at the Art Theater in Hobart.
Yes.
They're so kind, and Shane and the crowd are so wonderful with hosting there. The date this year for it is?
The show is May 3rd at 3 p.m. at Hobart Art Theater.
Always a Sunday afternoon. But before we can get to that date, and again, it raises money for the wonderful
Meals on Wheels.
Meals on Wheels, yes.
And
thank you.
you've used that as a platform for the last couple of years, or since the very beginning. How long are we doing Meals on Wheels?
This is our third year with Meals on Wheels.
Yes.
Great. That
And
is wonderful.
Melissa has been in the show, and when she started working at Meals on Wheels, I think that kind of ignited a passion in me as well, because it's really all encompassing. People don't realize, but they serve people from the ages of like 3 to 103. Where I think people might have had a different viewpoint on who could be serviced by them, and I just think it's such a wonderful cause. Their organization has been so helpful in promoting the show and helping with different aspects that we decided to work together for 3 years.
And so many counties, including where I trekked up from today, from my own county of Stark County, is it included in that coverage area? Can you list them all?
Sure. Lake, Porter, Newton, Jasper, Pulaski, Stark. So yeah, we have a vast coverage area.
That is wonderful, and it is always expanding. We're going to talk more about how this franchise and how the program happened in just a moment. And I know Tony's got a couple questions. He's going to chime in. But first, I just want to give a reminder of how many years you've been doing it and just a quick little nod to how it happened.
Sure. So this is actually the 9th year, 8th show, though, due to COVID.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that COVID year, the cast had to kind of hang on one more year to actually perform. So in 2014, I was cast in the Northwest Indiana edition of Listen to Your Mother. I had seen advertisements prior, but didn't think I could be a part of it because I was not a mom. But you don't have to be a mom. You can talk about your mom, a mother figure, your mother-in-law, what have you.
And as a teacher, you deal with many parents and moms on a daily
Yes,
basis during
and
your career.
and before I was blessed with my son in 2014, a lot of those kids filled that role for
Sure.
me, and I still have great relationships with them to this day. So very thankful for that.
And so glad that you were able to launch it. Tony, quick question. I'll hop in here.
Yeah, you know what? Before we listen to your mother, I want to mention Meals on Wheels. I did a ride-along one time with them. And it's really not just much the meals, which they need, but, that interaction, that social interaction. We stopped a gentleman. He was a 90-year-old vet, and him and his wife were there. And, I don't know how much family they really have anymore, but, we stopped them. We talked to them for a little bit, and they really enjoyed that interaction.
That's huge. That's huge. It's a big part. So, the meal delivery is one thing, the nutrition, but there are so many of our clients because, while we serve that vast, age, group, seniors are the largest part of the groups we serve. And so some of them, we are the only visit that they have or, in quite some time. So it is important that they get that connection.
Very much so. And back to Listen to Your Mother, of course, I sat in a rehearsal.
Yes,
covered
you
it.
did.
And just, you mentioned it. It's emotional. It's funny. Are there still times, you've been doing it all these years where you hear a story and it really just gets to you, it takes you back a little bit?
Pretty much every year there's one or two that happens because, you would think, how is this continuing on all these years later? Well, there's always new stories. There's somebody that hasn't had maybe the courage to come out and tell their story yet. So it's ever evolving. And although sometimes there's people that come back to be in the show because it's just a phenomenal experience, they talk about something different. It's the show's completely different every year. So if you've been to it once, you really haven't seen it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Come back again.
The original.
Yes.
We're going to use the moment since Melissa was so great with giving our explanation of all the capacity Meals on Wheels. We're going to sandwich in, and that's a pun intended, sandwich in a quick commercial with the phone number and the website in case somebody's thinking, I didn't know that they do Newton. Maybe we can get on to their service.
Sure. Our website is www.mownwi.org, and our phone number is 219-756-3663.
Okay, now Carrie, on to these key dates because one of them is coming right around the corner.
Yes.
We'll get that flyer up so we get the timeline. It's audition time.
Yes.
Virtual or in person or both?
So we're going to do virtual completely this year because moms are busy. And if I can get someone to come out that wouldn't otherwise come out because they'd have to find a babysitter on a Saturday to come and audition with me. So it's quite easy. You just compose your piece, read it, make sure it's about 5 minutes in length, and then you can attach it to an email and also with maybe a video of you reading it. And if you can't do that, you're not tech savvy, I can hop on a Zoom call with you and listen to you. But that email is ltymnwi@gmail.com.
And it could be, it's women, it's men.
Women, men, everybody. Like
Can siblings do it
siblings
together?
can do it. We've had two sisters do it before. We've had a mom and a daughter in the show. Separately, but I've actually asked, them at some point, hey, let's get together and tell this shared story as well. So it can be an individual or two or more people sharing a combined story. If you're going to do something like that, you can have 7 minutes versus the 5.
Okay.
And again, if you're hearing this and you're driving, you're thinking, I didn't get that email in time. the flyers that we have here, I pulled them right off of Facebook. So either Carrie's page or listen to Your Mother has its own page, right?
Yes. So it's LTYMNWI 26 on Facebook.
And Luke was nice enough to give me the ticket information as well.
Yes.
Unless you know off the top of your head, I can read it right here.
It's on Ticket Leap. If you want to, share that, that's great.
Go ahead, Tony.
Ticketleap.com. Tickets are $25 available. It starts at that. A high top table seating, VIP area, very nice. Range from 35 to 55. You could call 219-942-1670 or go to brickartlive.com.
Yes.
Gotcha. And I love that first flyer, Adrian, the one that's all in pink, because it's got the additional timeline and the dates. So the first one, you heard what Carrie just mentioned. It's an email. You're going to attach the actual Word document because they want to see what it looks like. So your monologue, your script in Word form. And then the added bonus advantages, if you get somebody to record or record yourself doing the presentation, email to that. That's your first step. They'll have a selection process, and then the next level happens on
March 14th. Okay, and we'll be at Spare Room Studios in Chesterton. Shout out to Tiffany and Cheryl. They own a company that will come and decorate for your events. They're great. And they also have a white room there where photographers can do some portraits and so much more. So you can rent it for a bridal suite. Lots of great stuff there.
And so by that level, you will have already reached out and you will have narrowed it and fine-tuned it. So everybody will hear back one way or the other.
Yes.
And then
and on that particular day, we do headshots. I always do some fun ones. So this year we'll be doing something with maybe a little princess wand and
fun.
A broom. And then we have a second practice that's sort of mandatory. Again, we know everybody's busy, but I know when I was in the show and it was held at Memorial Opera House, I was super nervous about being on a stage. And so what I like to do for the people in our cast is you can come and you can practice on Shane. Shane's very nice about letting us come in there. You can get a feel for what it feels like. You can hear your voice in the microphone. It takes a little bit of that anxiety away. But if you feel like, hey, I'm pretty confident and I don't need to come today, that's fine too. But we do go out after lunch and it's a really great bonding experience. So, I do encourage members of the cast to come and do that.
And we're looking also, if you've got the advantage of streaming and you're seeing the video version of this, that stage is full with all the folks doing their final bows. The theater is full. So when Tony gave that ticket information, even though they haven't even selected the participants yet, it's great to go in and get those tickets because, of course, once the participants are selected, they're shouting it from the rooftops to friends, moms, families, and that place fills up quick, doesn't it?
Yes, and our VIP section goes very quickly. So if you're sitting in VIP, you're up front, you're at some nice tables.
High top tables here.
Well, that's in the back.
Okay.
So that's
the VIP. I forget that's the VIP.
That's the cafe style, right?
Yes, cafe style. And so there is food and drink that comes with that ticket, donated by lots of great local restaurants. One that's always supported us is Bon V in Hobart.
Oh, yeah.
Also Wildwoods in Hobart. They've been with us every year. And then you get a nice little swag bag, and you get to sit right up in front and see everybody.
Do I remember this correctly? Last year, embedded in my brain, was there some kind of a fancy schmancy pink cocktail?
Yeah, so we always have a signature drink, and this year, what do we call it?
I think it's the Wicked Whisper.
Wicked Whisper. But it's kind of like a pink and green, and what's nice about it is it's also is just great as a mocktail.
That's right. So either or, you've got equal opportunity there. When you see that full house and all those folks on that stage, if you are seeing our video version of it, the other part that Carrie has, this flows seamlessly. So it may seem like a lot of people, you're not there for 18 hours. It moves fast. They keep things moving, and everybody gets their time, and it feels very comfortable.
The audience is very engaged,
and
you're hanging on the words of the story, and again, happy, sad, and everything in between. And what's really great is afterwards, people in the audience will come up to cast members and talk about how impactful their story was to them. And sometimes you feel like you're the only person going through it, a certain situation, and really you're not. And this show speaks of that.
I've written about it for decades in my columns. I know my other columnist colleague counterparts like Eloise Valdez has written about it over the years. They always sort of cherry pick a few media folks to be as a part of it. I know columnist colleague Jerry Davidge, I believe, has done it. Mark Chase, one of my editors, has done it last year.
He was in the show.
He was in the show last year. Amy LaValle, my editor at the Post, was featured. So it really, it's folks from all backgrounds, and don't feel as though you have to be finessed and be a public speaker.
No.
That's what those couple of rehearsals, it's more about the content and getting out there and telling your story.
And, Amy, people like Amy who are professional writers, Mark, of course, their stories are great. They write every day.
Right.
But also, if you've never written anything before, you might be writing the most profound piece on that stage. You just don't know.
Yeah.
You might tap into a new talent that you don't know that you possess. And it's great just to, if you feel compelled to write that story, I'm
do it.
Telling you to do it.
So once again, we're going to do a timeline of these key dates, and then we're going to do that email again. So the key dates, first one coming up is
March 1st.
Okay.
Email the piece and you reading it. Try to stay within 5 minutes. If you're 2 or more people, 7 minutes. Then from there, what I do is I kind of see how the pieces fit together. So if it doesn't make it in this year, maybe it just doesn't flow with the other pieces. It could fit in perfectly next year. You don't know. So no one should feel bad if they don't get their story picked. It's just kind of how they all flow. You need so many funny, so many sad, so many in between. There's kind of like a little formula there. And then if picked, then on April 14th, we'll be at Spare Room Studios in Chesterton doing our headshots and going through our first reading together, which is always a very profound day. And the cast gets to know each other. It's a super awesome day. And then April 25th at the Art Theater, if we want to practice, go out to lunch. And then the show, of course, is May 3rd. Secretly, I have a goal to beat 6,000. We've typically hit between 5, 6. Did we do 6,500 one year?
I think close to it.
Yeah. So at least 6. If we can do more, I mean, this is a organization that is just like so phenomenal and far-reaching. And we do have a spot on the ticket sales page where you could make a donation if you would like to.
That's a phenomenal number because this is very grassroots is what I call it. Because you've created it. You're right. There was an earlier incarnation. You took it over and continued it, which is wonderful. But once everything is paid, because there are other considerations, the ticketing process costs money. That's what you've been able to hand over, that number.
Yeah, so after paying for the theater and
that's great.
The tickets printed, the programs, everything, decorations, like we've been able to hand that over. So it's really amazing.
That is absolutely phenomenal. I mentioned another key date that was coming up, and March 1st is the Meals One. It's the big Dine with the Chef scale.
Yes.
In fact, Chef Gabe and I have been texting to have him on next week to do a Vital to Push. He's great with all the other professional chefs and corralling them for that one day at Avalon and Manor where it is a feast that keeps on giving, correct?
It really does.
Oh, it's absolutely wonderful.
They had to wheel me out a couple times.
And a lot of times, same thing. It sells out all the time. Still a few spots right now. Tables?
Yeah, still a couple. It's
Good,
very
all right.
small, so we were very grateful to to sell so quickly and get so many sponsors this year. And we are just so grateful to carry. I mean, the last couple of years have been great. I mean, third party fundraisers are just incredible because someone has taken the time to think of us and do that and put that work into it. And so we're so incredibly grateful. And then of course, Dine with the Chefs. I mean, that is like our biggest fundraiser of the year. And so it's just an incredible experience. So
not only at Dine with the Chefs do we have all these appetizers, drinks, and multi-course meal. Why don't you talk about your entertainment?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So we actually have entertainment. We had her last year, and we're going to have her one last time because she was so incredibly amazing. But her name is Annika Wooten. She was Miss Kansas a couple times, and she is a speed painter, and she is just incredible. And so if you were there last year, which I think you were, Phil, you had no idea what she was painting. Carrie was there. It was upside down, and she flipped it over, and it was this incredible,
we were trying trying to figure out what it is, what it was, and we're like, I see a little beach over there, and then she flips it, and you're like, oh,
It was a
like,
cityscape,
wow,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a
absolutely.
sailboat with Chicago in the background,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly.
Love that.
We kind of feed her some information, and then she gets inspired, and
Yeah.
so she's just incredible. So we've given her some good feed. We fed her some good information for this year, so we think everyone will love what she has to do. We don't know what it will be
Sure.
ourselves, but just from what we've given her, we know it'll be incredible.
And if I remember correctly, she's done a lot of work with the Chiefs as well, hasn't she?
Yes.
I remember her talking about, Travis Kelce, that's my
Yeah.
guy.
Oh,
And
Don't tell Taylor Swift
I know.
there, right?
I actually kind of became a Taylor fan because of him. So
Really?
my husband and I kind of bonded over listening to the New Heights podcast. So yeah, so I kind of
Well, Luke offside here is
usually-
a big Swiftie, so
yeah. So it's usually kind of the opposite. Like people become a fan of his through her, but I was the opposite. I was a fan of his, and then
very nice.
Well, and also Tony Sam Michael, right? He would love to hear this.
Sam Michael is
one
a
of the
big
other radio
Swiftie.
personalities,
Adriana,
sports
make sure
director.
next time you see Sam, you bring up Taylor Swift because he loves her.
Yes.
But also at the event too, a lot of great raffle.
Oh, yes.
Silent
Oh,
auction.
Some of these,
silent auction
these
items.
baskets are amazing.
they are.
Yeah, we've really tried to tailor it this year to more experiences, so we're excited about what the auction has kind of transformed into.
Sure.
And also a big fundraising goal. We've incrementally increased it, and that's kind of the goal. But last year we hit over 183,000, which was record breaking for us, and this year we're trying to hit that 200,000 mark.
That is just amazing. And I'm this old. I've been writing about it since it was first thought up by Arlene and Margot, and it was in a little teeny tiny back room over, I think, either in the Star Plaza or maybe in Avalon. It's a side room because it was just starting, and it just grown to this wonderful event opportunity. While we've got Melissa and Carrie here, both as the folks that can testify to this, back to listen to your mother. For those of you that are listening and are thinking, well, I could, but they get so many submissions. I'm not going to bother. You just said there's a key formula, so you need lots of submissions.
I need
to make
lots
sure
of
you fit.
different types of submissions.
Yes.
So please do not feel discouraged. I know one year we had a university professor in it, and so a girl dropped out of auditioning because that was her university professor. She didn't think she could compete with her. You absolutely can.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, just because I had never written anything formally and performed it when I was in the cast in 2014, and I actually did it. English teacher. This is my 32nd year. I can talk in front of kids all day, but I had a phobia of speaking in front of adults, and so I really did it to try to push myself out of my comfort zone, and I loved it. Like, you can't really see the audience, but they interact with you, and that they're really engaged in what you have to say. And so I encourage everyone. I know there's a plethora of stories out there that wouldn't get told if you weren't brave enough to audition.
And probably
So
if you're in the audience, you might be inspired to audition next year.
It's happened.
Yeah.
It's happened. Yep.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking about the wonderful phenomenon that is Listen to Your Mother. Started out as a Midwest sort of a franchise. It is licensed now, and it is a national event that happens, raises money for a great cause, and gets stories out for folks for awareness and education. Adriana, our producer, if you can flash that portrait shot of the smiling lady there. When I wrote my column, I put this photo of the creator of it.
Yes, that's Ann
And
Emig.
when it went on Facebook, I'm looking, and there's somebody writing back to Carrie saying, thanks for all that you do. And it was from the founder.
Yes.
She wrote you back and replied. So,
Yeah, last year it was the 10th year that since she had incepted the idea. So she sent me a really nice bracelet as a thank you for continuing her mission. And
that's great.
yeah, she's a wonderful lady. She's a life coach now. So if you need some coaching, look up Ann Emig. That's IMIG.
Yep, and she's Midwest-based, Madison,
Wisconsin, yes.
So she's right here in our own roots, in our own backyard. Thank you so much for being a part of our broadcast today. It's always fun.
It's
and
always
it
a
gets me
pleasure to
excited,
see you guys.
And in the spring, we need things to look forward to during some of these kind of drab days of lingering winter. So this is great. We'll use this as an opportunity as we close, though, Tony, since we're talking about Swiftie things, that we have our own tribute to Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift tribute.
And that is?
It's coming up this Saturday, February 21st. is the date on that. 7:30 p.m. It's Red Revolution. These are the folks that do Echoes of Pompeii, Mr.
Nice.
Funny Man. They have a Taylor Swift tribute now.
So when I brought that up, that just kind of was a nice segue.
Nice segue.
Didn't even know.
A shameless plug here.
Yes.
We're doing now. And, of course, you can pair that with a great meal from the folks at 1040 Catering and Banquets at 5:30. And, they have a lot of Swifty stations, nail painting, hair tinsel.
What did they call them here, Adrian? What did they call them?
Saturday night?
Each of the stations are called what based on her albums? You gave us a learning moment last week.
So all of her albums are different eras of her life and
that's
all that. So everybody will probably be dressed in different eras.
And this is happening at Theater at the Center.
Yes.
Is the host at the Center for Visual and Performing Arts, 1040 Ridge Road, this coming Saturday, depending on when you're hearing this, the 21st, 5 o'clock in the ballroom are all those buffet stations, and everything is cleverly named after her songs and albums.
Shake It Up sliders.
Chicken tenders.
cute.
Marry Me Chicken Tenders.
All these fun
Super
things.
cute. Love
And bracelet station, makeup station, nail station, and then just go right across the lobby into the theater for the 7:30 performance, Red Revolution, the Taylor Swift Experience. Box office is open at 219-836-3255, and you can also take care of getting the purchase for the meal and everything right there. Great price for these, and the ticket prices, do we have them right here?
Yes, it's $40 for adults and $25 for kids 18 and under.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I think the meal, I think, is a $25 meal, if I want to say so. A great way to spend a Saturday, and then you'll have an awful lot of fun. And don't forget, you got to be working on your auditions, because those are coming up for Listen to Your Mother 2026 year, and then right around the corner from that, March the 1st, Dime of the Chef's Meals on Wheels, and the Chef Gabe, I believe, might be chatting more about that next week. Thank you again, everybody, for being with us.
Thank you.
And thank
Thank
you
you
to our listeners, our radio listeners, and also our viewers who are streaming and finding us on YouTube and social media. I'm your host, Phil Potempa. We wish you enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, or wherever your path might take you.
From the gas in your car to the heat in your home and the roads that you drive on, our work powers daily life. We are USW Local 71, the proud men and women of the Whiting Refinery. We're not just refinery workers. We're your friends and neighbors, raising our families here, shopping in the same stores, and cheering in the same stands. USW Local 71, powering the region because we are the region.
219 News Now is brought to you by the South Shore Line and by Strachan Van Til, making lives easy.